Hello everyone and welcome back to The Magic Knitter. Today we want to look at a problem that everyone is going to come across at least once when they're knitting. You've dropped a stitch. What's going to happen next? You got to get it back on the needles. There's no cause to panic. That can be done without having to rip, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But if it doesn't work and you do have to rip a couple of rows, we'll take a look at how to do that also. So bear with me and we'll change to the overhead camera and take a look at that. Okay everyone, here we are, knitting along quite happy with myself, and I suddenly realise I'm missing one. Not got the number of stitches I should have, and where is it? Oh my god, there it is. So what to do next? Now it is possible to get that stitch back up here without ripping all the rows. So let's have a look at how you do that. What you want to do is knit over as far as that little lost sole. So we'll knit the first couple of stitches of the row. And there he is, like a bold child. He's after slipping down. And what are you going to do? Now, look closely here. There's your lost stitch. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is stick a needle in it so it is not going to go any further. If you look here, this bar, this one and this one are 3 rows that stitch has slipped back. So let's take a look at how you're going to get him back up where he should be. He's on a needle. Make sure it's not twisted this way or that way, that it's just lying flat like all the other little V's in these stitches here. And you're going to pick up the first bar. Watch again. There, like that. And you can leave the whole thing down on the table so that you have it under control. And you're going to lift the lost stitch over that. Give it a little jimmy around there. Now it has come back up 1 row. You're going to put your needle under the next horizontal thread there, that one. Thing to be careful of when you're picking up stitches like that is that you don't mix up the rows. Don't pick up this one and miss that one. So we're going to pick up that and lift the lost stitch over it. And now it has come back another row. Are you with me so far? There's 1 more row to go. Let's look at it again. Put your needle that the stitch is on under that thread. Get another needle and lift it over. Okay. Now at this stage, it's back up level with these stitches here. Okay. There's no more horizontal threads here to pick up. So I can take it that my stitch has come all the way back. I'm going to take this needle out of it and put it back on the working needle where it should be. Okay. Sometimes you may have to jiggle your knitting around a little bit just to even out the picked up stitches. But today I'm happy with that. They look fine. Okay. And that's how you rescue a lost stitch. Now what happens if it happens on a purl row that you notice it's missing? Let's say you're around here and you see the stitch. Turn the work. It's always so much easier to pick up a lost stitch on the knit side. So just turn the whole thing around and follow the process that I've just done on the knit side. Okay, lost stitch has been rescued. But let's say you've made a mistake. Back here, it's gone wrong. You've decided, okay, there's nothing else for it. I need to rip. An awful lot of people are in absolute fear of ripping simply because they worry that they won't get the stitches back onto the needles. Well, there's a very simple way of doing it, and we're going to show you right now. I'm going to be brave. Pull that out. Pull this out. And we're going to rip a couple of rows. So let's say I want to rip 3 rows. So count the number of times that the wool rips all the way across. That's 1 row. That is 2 rows. Now, before you rip the last row that you want to rip, stop. I'm going to turn this around. With the ripping thread on the left-hand side of your work, pick up the needle that you need to put them back on. And rip the last row 1 stitch at a time. Just watch this now. This is magic. As the thread comes out, poke the needle in. Thread comes out, needle in. Thread out, needle in. That way, they will always go back. You won't lose any, and you'll have them the right way round on the needle. Watch it. Thread out, needle in. And so on, all the way across. Spread them out on the needle as they go. Don't panic. If you take it 1 stitch at a time, you'll get them all back. These are being picked up, and the next row will be a purl row because I'm facing the rough bumpy side. But let's say I want to pick them up that the next row is a knit row, the smooth side. So take them off of there. Okay. Now, have the smooth side facing. I'm going to pick up all my stitches. Now, it's a little different on this side, but the same principle applies. Pull the thread out, put the stitch on the needle. Pull the thread out, stitch on the needle. Thread out, stitch on. Now, you will notice that when we were working this on the purl side, thread was coming out of the front of them. The knit stitches, it comes out of the back of them. Thread out, stitch on. Thread out, stitch on, and so on. And after a while, you get fairly good at it. If a stitch has slipped back, put it on the needle anyway. And when you get to it, you can use the method that I showed you at the start of this video to pick it up for the number of rows that it has slipped back. Okay, so I'm going to continue on and pick up the rest of my stitches. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe underneath. And I'll catch you again on the next episode of The Magic Knitter.